Yes.
All right. So every company has this tenant, whether it's Citibank or whoever, they have this tenant, but maybe they can have multiple tenants. But this is going to be the tenant um that you're going to be using um to do your provisioning and that kind of stuff, right? So just like the way the Okta tenant is already the same thing. We have
Yeah.
users, and
Yep.
this is where you can create users. You can come and create users, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with the provisioning of the application, I told you earlier that so what is going to happen is that if they migrate everything to Entra ID, you'll be doing provisioning.
Yeah.
You also not you'll be doing SSO integration. So the first thing that we're gonna do here, hold on, let me push this one a little bit down. All right. So if you want to integrate an application into Azure AD, right? There are
Yeah.
two things we have two things here. The first one is enterprise application. Enterprise application has to do with if you want to do with third party applications.
Okay.
And then we have app registration. App registration is for internal, right? If you want to do an internal integration with an app, let's say the company is building their own application, right? And
Yeah.
they want to federate it with Azure AD or integrate it with Azure AD, then this is where you're going to come. So let's start with that first. So you
Okay.
click on app registration. Now, what is going to happen is that you're going to tell them to give you the name of the application that you are trying to build or they are building.
Okay.
So then you go to what we call new registration, and then you're going to put in the name of the application. So let's say that the name of the application is, let's say, Albert 104. That is the name of the application. So that then the next one is who can use this application or access this API. So then it's asking that is it going to be the people in this particular tenant? So my tenant is a single tenant. I don't have a multi-tenant. So if it is just a single tenant, then yes, then you're going to select the first one. If it is like say the company has a multi-tenant, then you're going to go for the multi-tenant. If it is a personal Microsoft account only, then you're going to select this one. But mostly you go with the first one, which is the single tenant. If the company does not have a multi-tenant, then you're going to go with the first one. Then the redirect URL. You see that every application has a URL, right?
Yeah.
So the application is going to talk to Azure AD. So if the application talk to Azure AD and then you finish authenticating, like finish entering your username and password, Azure AD has to redirect you back to the application, right? So
Yeah.
like, for example, let me do this. So a typical example is Spotify, right? So let's go to spotify.com. And then I want to log in into Spotify. If I click on login, you see that Spotify has given me two options. One, to either use my username and password, or I can log in using continue with Google, right?
Yeah.
So in this stance, in this case, if Spotify is integrated with Azure AD, you see that Azure AD will also be part of the down here because Azure AD is an identity provider. Facebook is an identity provider. Google is an identity provider. So let's say that let's use Google. So I'm going to use Google, right? So what is going to happen is that I'll continue with Google. Now, even though I'm in Spotify, but do you see that the URL has changed to Google?
Yes.
So that in that instant, this is going to be the Azure AD credentials, right? So then what is going to happen is that I'll have to put in my username and password, everything here. Let me, hold on.
So it's like going into a different org, like in Okta.
Yes, to verify my identity.
Got you. Okay.
Yes. So I just want to do just the normal practice here so that, you don't forget. Because if you go for an interview, you can give an example like using Spotify.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me sign out from here. All right. So right now, if I click on login, yes, I'll click on continue with Google. So Spotify has to talk to Google, right?
Yeah.
To verify my account. So then I'll go ahead and select my account. I don't know whether it's the first one or the second one. No, okay. Because this account is not registered with this, then what it means is that I need to select this one.
Yeah.
And then you see that Google has brought me back to Spotify. So now do you see the URL?
Mm-hmm.
So that's exactly the same thing that we are talking about here. That is the redirect URL.
Okay.
Give me a second here. Yeah, so that's what you're going to do here. So you are going to ask them to give you the redirect URL. And then here you are going to select the platform. Is it going to be whether a public client, mobile, desktop application, or web application, or something? But right now, we are going to leave this for now, right? Then we can go ahead and click on register. So the next thing is that here you are going to give the developers the client ID, just like the way we did it in Okta, right?
Yeah.
You're going to give them the client ID. That is the ID for the app in Azure AD, right? You're going to copy this and give it to them. You're also going to give them the client's credentials. So the client credentials is just like, let's say an authentication, let's say a password trying to authenticate with Azure AD for the application, right? So I'm going to give them this secret, right? But how you can get this is you have to, the first thing you need to do is to come to what we call come to certificates, right? To come to certificate and secret, you click on new client secret, and then you are going to name it. So let's say the secret name will be, let's say Albert 104. And then you're going to specify when should the secret expire, or you know what I'm saying, when you say, when should the secret expire. So you can either choose to do 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, depending on the app. So sometimes you can just choose let's say 1 year, and then if it expires, you can still come back and then generate a new one. And it's for security reasons, right? Some people can do 3 months, so that every 3 months they will just be repeating it, so that in case the app is hacked by an attacker, they can quickly, just generate a new one. So you click on add, and then you are going to give this value and then the secret ID to the developers. They will need it. So you give this to them. Now, the third step is you're going to go to API permissions. Now, this API permission, you're just talking about the API permission for the application, so that application can be able to contact Azure AD, right? So if you are trying to get access to the application, because the application has to verify you to know that, yes, this is you, the application has to contact Azure AD and then read your profile, read your account, that, oh yeah, this is you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So then you are going to grant the application access to the admin console. So you're going to go here, go to add permission, and then you're going to select graph. Now, as you know, the Microsoft graph is the Microsoft APIs, right? So you're going to go to Microsoft graph, and you're going to go to application permissions. And then you're going to search for, all these are all API endpoint, what we call API endpoint calls, but you're going to search for user, right? So user, you're going to find the user here. You click on the arrow, it will open. And then what do you want the app to do? Do you want the app to read and identify the users? Yes. Do you want the app to read and then make changes to the user's profile in Azure AD? No. Do you want the app to be able to revoke the user session? No. So the only thing that you're looking for is
Is the user read all.
Just the user read all. That is the only permission we're giving to the app. So we click on add permissions.
Gotcha.
Now, even though you've added it, if you don't grant the permission, it will still not work unless you grant permission to this particular API. You're going to go ahead and click on grant admin consent for TechBet, and then say yes. That means that you are granted permission for the app so that the app can access the TechBet tenant. All right. So now we have this. That is all. Yep.
Oh, so this is way easier than Okta.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okta is more easier than this.
Oh, really?
Oh, bro. I was doing Okta is the easiest. Okta is very easy, bro. Because with Okta, let me just open the Okta account and then show you some. So, with Okta, let me try to it. Okay. With Okta, you don't have to go through all these steps. It's just very simple. So with Okta, basically you are setting up an OIDC integration. So all that you're going to do is that you just go to
So it's an OIDC when you're going to Azure.
no.
Okay.
If you are trying to integrate an internal app with Okta, you are going to use OIDC.
Okay.
So you're going to go to create app integration. You're not going to use some because the app is not assignable, because Okta is going to be the authorization server for the application, the internal application. You're going to select OIDC because it's going to use over 2.0. All right. So you're going to select OIDC, and there's only the same thing we did in Azure. You have to determine that the application is either a web application, single page, or native, right?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to tell you this. When
So
you in Azure, after you are done with this, right? Let's say that now they will have to ask you whether the application is going to be either a web application, just as we have here, a web or a single page. So in Azure, the first one I show you, the redirect URL that I said is optional. You can come back here and then add it again. So under authentication, you are going to select add platform. And this is how you're going to say, we are going to say whether it's going to be a web, single page, Android application, Mac OS, or mobile. It's exactly the same thing that we have in Okta here. It's exactly the same thing here.
Okay.
So this is where you can come in. So, well, it's maybe the app is being developed in Python. Then you're going to select Python. And this is how you're going to enter the redirect URL. That is, if in the first setup, if you don't add a redirect URL, you can come to authentication and then come and add it here, right? And then you can go ahead and then select the token, whether you want it as access token for anything like that. Yeah. So that is it. So in Okta, you're going to select the web application, click on next, and then you just give the name of the app, Albert 104. And then you're just going to here, you see we have the same thing here, redirect URL. So you're going to collect the redirect URL from the developers, paste it here, and then the standard redirect URL, you're going to go and paste it here. And the same thing as we have in Azure, which people are going to use this? Is it everyone in the organization or just limited people? Then you can let's escape for now and click on save. Now, when you are done with this, all that you need to do here, you're not going to grant permission or anything like that. You're just going to copy the client ID and then the client secret to them. You are done. That is all. You only need this client ID and you need this client secret. You just copy the client secrets and then that is all. You just give it to the developers. You are done. It's simple.
So Okta is connected to Azure just like that.
Not Azure, the internal app.
The internal app.
To create. Yes.
Okay.
No, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to compare Okta with Azure just for you to see how the two are. Yeah,
I got you.
Okay. Yeah, because you said that Azure is very simple, and I said no.
Yeah.
Okta is more simple.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I see.
Yeah. All right. So now we are done with my app, the name of my app. So now if I have any Java programming or anything like that, or I'm building a Java, anything like that, I'll just come and then I just come here and then just copy the client ID, and I'll go and then copy the client secrets to them, and then I'm done. That is all. All right. So now let's go back to enterprise application. Now, I was going to do a video today. I don't know whether I should do it or not.